Hello and welcome to Ageless Rock channel where megalithic sites are seen from a different perspective. Today we are going to check out terrace farming at Ollantaytambo town in Cuzco region in Peru. In the previous video I talked about the aqueducts, which I doubt it has anything to do with agriculture. Ollantaytambo is named after a captain by the name Ollantay, and Tambo means resting place. It was written in a play entitled Ollantay. However, the origin of the book cannot be ascertained and remains a mystery. Another possibility is that it came from Aymara word Ullantawi, which means watchtower. Imagine an ancient observatory. Ollantaytambo is a small town with only approximately 12,000 population. But this small town is bustling with hundreds of tourists every day because there are many megalithic monuments to see. It is a great alternative to Machu Picchu if you don't have time but still want to see the world-famous megalithic monuments. Ollantaytambo is definitely famous for this agricultural terrace, but there is something odd about the entire structure if you say it was constructed for planting. Everyone seems to be able to imagine hard-working Incas planting corns without questioning the logic of doing that. Don't be mistaken by terrace farming we used to see in Asian countries like Japan, Indonesia and Philippines. It is a bit different to me. They are usually not steep and they start from very low and flat land and slowly moves up the hilly areas over a long period of time. Only occasionally, the farmers will slowly move to more steep areas. It is a logical area as you only need to level a little bit more from higher level to lower level every day to get more land by the end of the year. Logically, you want to use as little soil as possible to get as much flat surface as possible. The lower the height, the better it is for farmers to move up and down. There will be a point where farmers will find it too much work for so little flat surface area. It is not worth the effort. So the logic is start from the bottom and move upward. Don't be surprised, these terraces are very steep occasionally. If you work on one level at a time over 30 years of farming, even one farmer can change the landscape. But they are toiling soil with hoes. It has nothing to do with bedrock. Do you think the Incas liked terrace farming on megalithic sites at very high and steep areas, smacking away bedrock with chisels that we can't even prove they had at that time? If you think that there is nothing unusual about it, here's another fact that won't make sense. When it gets too steep, the bedrock rubble cannot be stacked on the next level below. It will be too unstable and will collapse by its own weight. This is the first terrace straight out of a very steep slope. But the small land area that you get will not make sense for the amount of work done. This suicide project comes with polygonal stone masonry. It will be very strange to see Incas shaping the tight-fitting polygonal stones artistically so that they can have corns. I am not sure who wants to plant corn here. I never thought terrace agriculture can be one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. Upon completion, topsoil has to be brought up here. Do you think the Incas has all the time in the world for bedrock terrace agriculture because they wanted to eat corn? I think hunter-gatherers had an easier life looking for food in the jungle than planting corns. As far as farmers are concerned, they use tools to deal with soil. Earth can be managed easily with hoe, spade, shovel or plow. These were the tools humans used since it was invented. Ancient chisels were never invented for reshaping bedrock. But the terrace in Ollantaytambo is not soil, it is bedrock. You need to literally smack bedrock to get the terrace. The steps were hewn out of the bedrock. Since there is no soil on the bedrock, the topsoil has to be brought to the terrace so that they can plant something. This is not terrace agriculture. I will call this bedrock no soil terrace agriculture. But even more weird is that they actually go deep into the bedrock before shaping terraces. Can you imagine the amount of bedrock that has to be removed before constructing a terrace? Why don't the Incas start from the surface of the bedrock? This is humanly impossible and completely unnecessary. The unknown ancient builders who had the tools to shape bedrock created this for unknown reason. The Incas rediscovered them and used them for planting because it was already there. If the Incas really needed terrace farming on the bedrock, then this is a bad location because it is too steep. The terraces were inconveniently too high. Putting topsoil, seedling, watering, harvesting, and all the agricultural activities are going to be a nightmare. The terraces were so deep into the bedrock that there is a bedrock wall that creates a shadow. This is a big mistake for agricultural architecture because a big area will not get sunlight for a long period of time. I cannot imagine any human being getting excited by the idea of smacking bedrock so that they can have corn. Healthy corn needs lots of depth for the roots. The thin layer of soil on the top is only suitable for grass. You cannot rely on rain during summer. So how do you water the plants on the top? I am not sure who in their right mind would smack bedrock to have terrace farming when all they need is just plant the same corn at the bottom, which is already nice and flat. Here is a simple logic why this terrace could have been done with the same amount of produce but 100 times less hacking on the bedrock. If you hack the bedrock all the way down to get a 100-meter flat bedrock to plant something, you will have to remove a large amount of bedrock. But if you break the land into two split levels, you will still get 100 meters of land, but only need to remove half the volume of bedrock. How about if you break into 4 levels? You will still get 100 meters to plant corns, but only need to hack a quarter of the intended volume. If I am the Emperor of Inca and my subjects are happy to hack bedrock to plant corns, I will ask them to make it about 1 meter wide so that they don't have to spend too much time hacking bedrock. That is a lot of chisels I don't have to supply. In reality, the Incas have always been planting on existing nice flat land. The terraces of Pumatalis have never been and never will be able to produce enough crops for Pachacuti and his little village, let alone a large population. Look at the land for crops currently being used. No one is hacking bedrock despite having power tools and lesser flat land. The amount of land in the yellow area is ridiculously small for agricultural project. It is ridiculous to assume that the ancient Incas prefer bedrock to existing land by the river. From the insane effort of having terrace agriculture created out of bedrock at 2,700 meters above sea level, all they need to do is to go to a nice flat, low land 100 kilometers away. Well, that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed this short presentation of terrace farming at Ollantaytambo and see you in the next chapter of Ollantaytambo. This is Bernie Ong signing out. Tu penancis kama.